having him here today and presenting. So Mike, if you want, go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim, very much, and thank you, InterDyn, for having us here. I know Houston and Minneapolis was quite a bit of fun, so I look forward to kind of sharing some of the same things that I shared, and maybe a little bit extra that I learned along the way. So, one of the great things about having a partner like InterDyn is, they know what the market needs. They're on top of it. Kim and her team and everybody there, and they see value in what Jet Reports brings to the table, and that's really why I'm here. I mean, this slide you're looking at is kind of an introduction on me, and we all know we're in the information age. Obviously, we all want to be that business that's leading with emotion and with your heart, but at the end of the day, we do have to base decisions on data. There should be no guessing. I think I saw that on a sign at Microsoft, no guessing. So what we've done here at Jet is we put a wide variety of tools in place to really meet the needs of every kind of business, shape, size. And one of the reasons we're in this position to speak to you is because Microsoft specifically sees Jet as a way to keep and make that GP community strong. So that's why I'm here. I'll introduce Jet here briefly. For those of you who don't know much about us, marketing wants me to cover some of this stuff. So this statement here, the leading reporting and business intelligence solutions provider for Microsoft Dynamics. That statement is true. But what I want you to remember, anyone who's here today, if there's anything you take away from this presentation or this slide, is that when you think of Jet, think of the fact that we simplify the tricky task and sometimes expensive task of getting your data out of your ERP into a digestible format. So if you only remember anything, just remember that. Jet, we're the data guys. We have you covered. So and it's good to have context too, right? So we've been around for a long time, since 2002, that's 14 years, and we work with every kind of company from a mom and pop shop on the corner all the way up to an organization as large as maybe as an NFL team. So this focus for the last 14 years has led to the other numbers that you see, 10,000 companies, a myriad of different sizes, 137,000 users worldwide, and we're talking about being relevant all over the world. We're much more than just a U.S. presence, and the arguably most important piece about this is the partnership here at the bottom. Now, I know why it's important for me, but why is it important for you? Well, you've made an investment into a Dynamics platform. And you're talking about working with a company in Jet Reports that has been around for 14 years, and we're not going anywhere. And as a result of that deep partnership, 5 years ago, we created a free product in direct collaboration with them called Jet Express. This was introduced in 2011, and now in 2016, they've, again, come to us and asked, can you make something for the GP community? So that's what we've done. That's what I'm here to showcase, is a tool in direct collaboration with Microsoft that should add some comfort for those of you who've already made that investment, knowing you're working with a company that's walking hand in hand with them into the future. So with that being said, this is our agenda. So upgrading from Management Reporter, I'm actually going to demo the product, which I know that's why you're here. And then if you want more, so if you want more than what Jet Express offers, I'll show you exactly what it is our paid solutions will offer you, and how it would improve your business. So, and truthfully, it's amazing how many folks have actually switched from Management Reporter already. It may have been ignorance on my part. Now that I'm learning more, it definitely is, but I'm going to talk to you why is Jet considered an upgrade from this. And then the Microsoft partnership, we have their backing with Jet Express, and both of us are very ecstatic about how many people, are already jumping on board. And, you can definitely wait, as Kim alluded to, with Management Reporter. It's going to be around, for a little while longer, but, there's a reason Microsoft is pointing to Jet, so I'm going to cover that stuff before I jump into the demonstration here. So, and as I hop over here, I want to talk a little bit about Management Reporter. So shifting gears a little bit. So we did a, I guess, unofficial poll as to what were some of the issues that Management Reporter that you would run into. So crashing, we'll put that number one. It's historically unstable from what we've heard. Now, the data mart being difficult, really, it's just so many problems arise when we're recreating the data mart. So with these two, we've heard this both from MVPs and customers, but Jet overall, it's a pretty stable product, and Jet Express and Professional neither rely on a data mart, so you're not going to have to worry about those anymore. The narrow focus on GL and financials, specifically not being able to report on the GL sub-ledger data, this created some issues, and Jet Professional and Jet Express allow you access to all of your GP data. So you can even incorporate outside data sources as you move up into our paid products, but that issue you're not going to have to worry about anymore. Not being able to save directly in Excel. Problem solved. Jet exists within Excel, as you'll see here in a minute. Can't handle data in the cloud. So that is one of the main reasons why we're here, is we're in lockstep with the vision that Microsoft has for the future, and I'm going to give you kind of the inside story here on the next slide, but we do that. Problem solved. And then end users, they can actually only view Management Reporter reports. They actually, you weren't historically able to do any kind of live refresh. With Jet, you'll see that that is actually solved, whether it's a free product or a paid product. Again, these are things that you're not going to have to worry about, but the biggest issue facing folks right now who are using Management Reporter is, like we were talking about earlier, there are no more investments going into the product. It's not cloud ready, and it's never going to be. And basically what you see is what you get. So that's the biggest issue. I know that's why a lot of you are here. So, kind of the backstory to this. And again, you could wait if you'd like. I would encourage you, any new reporting that you're going to be doing out of GP, I would highly, highly encourage you to download Jet Express, and I'll show you where to get it here in just a moment, and try reporting off your database, because these are the things that are going to drive your business forward. So, Jet GP and the cloud. So it's kind of a funny story as to what happened here. So the ownership of Management Reporter by Microsoft, what it happened was it physically, that team actually moved buildings to the AX practice. Now, what happened here is the GP team, your GP team there at Microsoft, knew that this was not going to serve the GP market. So what they did is they looked at all of their options out there, all of them, all ISVs, anything internal, and what they found was that Jet is the future. We matched their product roadmap and vision. We've been around for 14 years. We're not going anywhere. I already know that some of you have gone from, F9, FRX, and Management Reporter. I want to assure you that this is the last time you're going to have to rewrite these reports. We're not going anywhere. We have tons of plans with them in the future, whether it's 365 and beyond. And, I just want you to know, don't expect something to change in the next 5 years. We're not going anywhere. So what is Jet Express, right? So Jet Express is, simply put, it's an Excel add-in. I do want you guys to know that it honors all of your GP security settings that you have built in. So those folks who are refreshing reports, when we get to that, will not have access to data they otherwise wouldn't. And really this product answers that question of it's too risky to buy a whole new reporting process and change everything that we're doing. So Jet Express was created 5 years ago, and they came to us and they wanted something easy enough for the average business user to use with minimal training. So that's what we did. It's basically an extension of your database in Excel, and it gives the average business person access to real-time reporting. And there's two different ways to build reports. One is the GL function, and then the other is the ad hoc database queries. This is where now you can report from any table, any field, any view in your database, and the training that you need is not substantial. We have videos online, and it will get you up and running in a very short period of time. We have free sample reports, so you can build everything from a simple financial statement all the way up to something advanced that I'll show you today. So that's what Jet Express is. Now, as important as it is to talk about what Jet Express is, it's equally as important to talk about what Jet Express is not. So it is not a management reporter or FRX, and as we've seen, that might be, a good thing. We were not designed necessarily to replace management reporter, but in our current format, it was pulled off the shelf and enhanced for the GP community, and now endorsed by Microsoft as the reporting tool of the future. So for those folks who, you're comfortable with your management reporting right now, what I would encourage again is write those new reports that you're creating with Jet Express. Reach out to us if you have questions. I know one of the biggest questions we get is, about the trees, and we have the same effect of trees. We just call them columns and sheets, as you'll see today a little bit. And if you have questions, email me. We can definitely work through challenges, but it's definitely not a BI solution either. It is not report automation, so meaning scheduling the automated distribution of your reports is available in our paid products. It is not web-enabled. And these two tools here at the bottom, the multi-currency reporting and budgeting and forecasting, those multi-currency reporting is available in a paid solution, and then budgeting and forecasting is something that we'll have in the future. So, but the free product is not this. So I don't want you downloading the product and expecting some of these features to be there, because it's equally as important to know exactly what it can and cannot do. So let's hop into the demonstration. So Jet Express, what does it do? What kind of reports can I build? Is there training? Where do I download it? Why would I use it? So these are all questions that I'm going to answer here in the next few minutes, showing you actually how to build out these reports. Now, this is taken directly from GPUG. So this is Brent. We have permission to use this, but he has built out some reports and believes that the ceiling for Jet Express is extremely high. The reason I put this out there is some information out in this community that is kind of comparing products and contrasting products. I just want everybody to know that the improvements that we made make it a very dynamic product. But again, it is totally free, and I'm going to show you exactly how to get it today. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll pull up our website. So where you get Jet Express is simply from our website, Jet Reports. Really nice website. Our marketing team would love that I'm showing how fancy it is now, but I'll give you the inside track. So as you scroll down here to the bottom, we can see Jet Express for Excel. And then as I click on this, we'll scroll down, obviously GP in this case. And down here is where you actually download the software. So there are basically version 9 all the way up to 2016, and into the future, we will work with and be embedded in future releases of GP, but this is how you get it now. It's very easy to download the product and then just forget about this page, but I want to show you where you get the training. So this is where we have videos on how to use the GL function and how to use the table builder, the two powerful functions you get with JetExpress. This shows you how to install and then also how to get you know, some of the installation details if you need that. Pre-built reports right here, those are free. You know, even though it is a free product, we do give pre-built reports, and I'll show you a few examples of that. And then if you get, you know, a question that you have, we actually have an online community. There's about 1,000 posts right now, but this is where you can go in. You can post questions. You can ask, you know, the community, what are you doing for specific kinds of reports? And you'll see folks have tips, tricks. Even our support team will get on there if there's a question that's out there lingering. They'll get on and make sure that everybody gets an answer to their question. So that's where you get JetExpress, and then where you get the training. So if I was to hop into Excel, what I want to introduce you to is our Jet ribbon. So up at the top, what you'll see is the Excel add-in that I alluded to. And as you can see, you can change databases. In this case, we're reporting from GP. You can also change companies. So you can do different companies for your reporting. Now, what I'm going to show first is the GL function. I know you guys want to know how to build financial reports. That's what you're used to with Management Reporter. So I'm going to show you how to build a really powerful report. And what this report I'm about to show you does is it actually pulls the account number, the account name, the balance, the budget, and I'm actually going to show you the variance between the two for each individual segment at the bottom of my workbook on their own individual sheets. And I can build this in a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, you know, and only using the GL function. So first thing that I'll do is I'm going to add in some dates here. And we're working from a sample database, but I know Q1 of 2014 works well. And this GL function here at the top is really simple to use, and I'll open this up so you can see it a little bit better. The reason our customers like it and the reason that it's so popular is it's really just a set of questions. So we're just going to answer the questions. So for the where do I want my information returned? Well, I want it returned in sheets in this case. You do have other options that we'll use here in a minute. For the what, I'm actually just going to grab segment 1 from my sample data, which happens to be 000. And then we will label, so we're going to want the account number, name. We also want the balance, the budget, and then the variance. Can't spell, variance between the two. And I will basically fill out the rest of this report just using the GL function. So for the where in this case, again, I want my information returned in rows this time. And I'm looking for the what. In this case, I just want a list, you know, of my accounts. And then down here for segment 1, I'm just going to reference the function that I just created. And it returns the first account number from that segment. So same thing for the name. Jet's smart, so I can actually leave this first question blank. It already knows that I've asked for information to be returned in rows. So in this case, I can just tell it what I'm looking for, which happens to be the account name. And then for which account, I'm simply going to reference from our workbook here and use cell referencing. And it gives me that name for that specific account number. And then as I move on to balance, we'll go ahead and select that from our what list because I want the balance. And then for which account, I'll go ahead again, just reference simply from our workbook here. And then the only other thing that I will add is the starting and ending date. So as I come up to the top, I will grab our beginning and ending period, which gives me a net change over time. And then same exact thing for the budget. And then we'll grab our dates here. Now, being home in Excel is very important for many reasons. One, which we already highlighted on, you can actually save directly here in Excel. But now you get to keep and couple all of that existing knowledge that you've gained in your time of using Excel with JET reports to really create some powerful reports. So in this case, I'm going to sprinkle in the variance. And I'm actually going to do some auto summation here at the bottom to make it look nice. And we'll add some bordering. Go ahead and make this accounting terms. Maybe splash in a little bit of color. And we'll go ahead and add some features here of JET, so some hide and fit, which will automatically expand our column with here, not to cut everything off. And at this point, I'm done. So that was a lot faster than I had promised, but what happens when I hit refresh is our client is actually going to dive into the GP database, and it's going to return the live information that I requested in exactly the format that I requested. So it should, at the very bottom of my page, which it does, show me my 100s, 200s, and 300s. So this right here is a powerful report that you can learn to create probably with 30 minutes to an hour of training is all that it took for me to learn Express. But this is a great example of a powerful financial report that you can create outside of your basic P&L. So with that being said, I'm actually going to show a couple of those reports. So this is an example of a sample report that you'll get in the future. So by downloading the product. So if you were to go to the JET ribbon and hit refresh up here in the upper left-hand corner, what it will do is give you the options to change your periods. You would run, and it dynamically pulls in the information from your GP database. So I just want to make sure there's been a lot of questions out there. Can you do consolidated P&Ls? And the simple answer is yes. This is an example of one we built. You have access to it on our website. So make sure you go ahead and download all the sample reports that are free. Download the tool and let us know how it goes. And then this is also another example of a sample report. We have some slicers over here on the left-hand side. But as you can see, sales, it's just laid out in a different format. It's an income statement. So we can build reports like these, just so you guys know it's out there. So I get a lot of questions about that. So the next report that I'm going to build, I'm actually going to duplicate one of these nice sample reports that I've been showing you. And to give you a taste of the other kinds of reports you can build outside of a income statement or a P&L. So sales, I know the average business person who's in sales would really love to have access to their data. This is a sample report where we get customer balances and credit limits. It's a really nice report, has all of the information in descending order. It's all tied together by this slicer up here at the top, so you could send this out to your sales team. And now instead of just being able to view it, they would be able to interact, and now they can slice on their name and see exactly where their focus should be on the day. But I'm going to show you how to build this report with just using JET Express. So there's two basically sides to the table builder. One is, it's called a report. It's more of a data dump, and what it does is it returns the information that I've requested, all of it. And the second step is to summarize it using a pivot table to make it look really nice. So I'm going to show you how to build this exact report just using the simple table builder function from JET Express. So if I click, and it's right up here in the middle, when I click on the table builder, what it gives is a very, very nice user interface to interact with. So what I'll do is I'll simply add table. And it does read every single table, every single field, and every single view that you have in your database. And the first thing it suggests is obviously adding some fields. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in the fields for this specific report. So we have credit limit amount, credit limit type, customer balance, and the customer information. And then the last thing we need is the salesperson. So you can actually just type this in, and we'll pull in the sales territory. Oh, let me change that. I meant salesperson. We don't need the sales territory. So with that being said, up here at the top, you probably noticed how easy it was to tell what I was pulling in. So this is all customizable too, so maybe if you want the customer information over here at the front, you want the customer name and customer number, you can even change the names here, but for example's sake, I'll just leave it the same. And then at this point, all that's left for me to do is either add filters or add additional tables or views to my reporting. So I'll go ahead and add a filter in here, and what I'm simply doing is just adding an option for my report viewers in the future to change, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second. And if I wanted to add an additional table, I would just click Add Table, and it would pull up that same list we saw in the beginning, and so on and so forth. You could continue building these reports, but for example's sake, this is all that we need, and if I was to click OK, it's going to ask me a question. Now, this template, what it's asking you is, do you want to save your footprint? Because I know a lot of you folks, you have a lot of views that you typically build reports through, and it can be difficult if you were having to come back and rewrite that footprint over and over again. So you can actually save your template and come back in at a later point in time and add an additional table or remove a filter. So that's specific to the GP community. I'm going to roll the dice and say no. I think I got it right. And then I'll come up to the jet ribbon, and when I hit refresh, what we'll see is the option I've built in for my viewers. So now an end user of this report will always have the option to toggle between sales territory if they want, and they have access to maybe doing a range of territories if they'd like. But for example's sake, I'm just going to keep it the same. And here we go. This is the data dump, so to speak. So over here, if we go back to that same report, you'll see looks very, very similar. So the last thing to do is summarize this using a pivot table. So I'll go up to Design, Summarize with Pivot Table, and then I'll just pull in the information that I want for this report. I'll actually do some basic pivot table functionality. I don't really want to see the subtotals, and the tabular form is the way that other report is laid out. And I'll insert some rows here at the top, and we'll even add that same salesperson slicer here. And all the information is tied together. So it's the same exact report, maybe outside of some of the formatting where we talk about the conditional formatting, but it's the exact same report. So if I was to show, here we go, it just looks slightly different with the coloring, but for time's sake, I want to make sure we get to everything and get to some questions. I'm just going to leave this the way it is. So with that being said, those are the two functions that you get with Jet Express, and that's really the two benefits of it. Is you still have your GL and you have access to really any table and field with the table builder. So let's talk about, at this point, you know, you've seen some of the reports that we can do. You've seen some of what we offer for free out of the box. Now, you know, what if you want more? What if you're wondering, well, you know, what would I get if I invested with a company like Jet Reports into one of their paid solutions? So what I'll show you first is Jet Professional. Now, this product really made us popular. Oh, It must not have heard me. We want to start from a different slide. There we go. So this product made us famous. This is our bread and butter. It was designed specifically for financial folks, for anybody needing to build accounting reports or financial reports, and it all lives within Excel. So that familiar environment that you used to, nothing changes from Express to Professional, but it does build. So everything you just saw with Jet Express, you would get with Professional, and then some. So first off, one of the most popular features is the ability to schedule and distribute reports automatically. That goes without saying. How nice would it be as a CFO or an accountant to have those month-end financials actually sitting in your inbox waiting to be viewed? That would be fantastic. Web portal, what you get with that is really a complete report management system. So you can access this with any device that has internet access and really solve some of the questions that we've got about reports being scattered all over on different desktops, not really sure what version of the report to be using. But now with Jet Professional, you get that web portal. We just released it in 2017. It's a really exciting feature of the paid product, and then the ability to drill down. I know that's important. With Jet Professional, you would have the ability to drill down into transactional detail. And really one of the most popular reasons, again, someone in the GP community typically moves up the ladder, is the report design flexibility. So we do have drag and drop reporting. We actually have drop-down menus within that drag and drop reporting that make it very easy for you to see the information contained maybe in a specific field, because I know sometimes with the numbering scale it can be kind of confusing. So both with Jet Express and Jet Professional, we've added friendly names, meaning that it's easier to do your reporting as somebody who doesn't live in the information all the time, but that drop-down menu is available. And then we can actually add custom calculations within the table builder, and if you have questions about that, definitely reach out. So that's Jet Professional. And the next product that I'll get to, commonly asked question, is if I have multiple data sources, meaning, you know, I have GP for my financials, but I have this other system that does this, and I have this other, you know, budgeting system, and I have these other tools that I attach with GP that give me all the information that I need. Well, what we do is we're really the Swiss Army knife. If you think of the Jet Enterprise, I want you to think of everything all in one solution. So Jet Enterprise really revolutionized BI for the dynamic space. It's cost-effective, pre-built project for GP. The initial install is only 2 hours, believe it or not. So it's a revolutionary product for Dynamics as a whole, and specifically for you folks who already have a GP database. And then in 2017, we know it's important for you. We know it's important for the community. There is a budgeting tool on the horizon. We do have mobile dashboarding, and we can actually build dashboards in a matter of minutes, 5 minutes. We actually have a way to do that, and you'll have access to, again, anything that connects to the internet, whether it's a tablet like you see here, a laptop, it doesn't matter. So, and the ability to do multi-currency is with Jet Enterprise. And then when we talk about one version of the truth, that's where your custom key performance indicators come into play. Really, ever since the advent of this product 4 years ago, the easiest way to end an argument now at Jet is it's in the cubes. So with data-driven decisions becoming a way of life, you saw I was passionate about that in the beginning, and it's because I know that it changes companies from the inside out. I mean, literally just, I think last week, we were having a discussion, and all that I had to do was go to the cubes, click on a few boxes, and we had our decision. It was just an amazing luxury. So over here, you'll have access to the slide deck. So if you would like to request a personalized demo, definitely do so. If you have questions about anything that I've talked about, please let me know. I'm here to help, and I'm dedicated to you guys. So just let me know how I can help. And at this point, thank you, InterDyn. And then Kim, I know you said you wanted to leave time for questions here at the end, so I am available when you are ready.
All right. Okay, everybody, on the right-hand side, you'll see the question area. Let's type in what questions you'd like to ask Mike before we let him go. I don't see anything in the queue, so let me just ask you. Obviously, this has just been a whirlwind with Microsoft talking about your products and things like that. What's the question that you're asked, Mike, that kind of surprises you?
That question that I get that surprises me the most is, oddly enough, the first one that we get, and it's how do I get your paid product? Because it's not every day that Microsoft endorses an independent solution software provider, and they have. So people are very, very curious about what it is we offer with our paid solutions. That has surprised me the most, because I know historically Management Reporter was the free tool that was out there. So for folks to be hungry enough to pay for something to move on from what they've been doing in the past has really surprised me quite a bit.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Yeah, it's nothing like having Microsoft market your product. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in the queue. Any last words of thought before we let folks go?
Honestly, if we have a few minutes, I might as well I'll show you guys the web portal real quick, because I know a lot of folks are curious as to what that looks like.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and grab that. So let's say this report, and again, this is with Jet Professional, but let's say this report is something, again, that you want to send to your sales team. And they're on the go, right? They're salespeople. They're not here all the time. And with Express, you have the ability to build these reports. And with Jet Professional, you can actually publish this to the web. So as a designer of this report, I would just click Publish. And we can just leave this the same. You can title it however you'd like. But once I click Publish, what this does is this will publish directly up to the web. And this web portal here might make me log in again, which it does, which is totally fine. Oh. And what we see is that exact report that I just uploaded. So on these reports, you have a few different options. You can actually run this report here in the web. So if I click, let's grab one we haven't seen. So we'll do Run. It will give me those user-defined options that I put in the report ahead of time. So maybe in this case, I'm just wanting to see the West Coast sales team. Maybe I'm a manager on the West Coast. Hit Run Report. This does query the live database, pulls the information up into the web, and now I can actually open this report using Office Online and Excel Online. So the person reading this report not only doesn't need to have Excel or Jet, they just simply on any device can upload this information. And as you can see here, it looks kind of funny with the sample data there, but this is an example of what someone would see on the go, viewing reports from Excel online. And then, the other options that you have are sharing, right? We want to share this with some folks. So the Details tab will give you access to being able to share with specific user groups, or maybe share with everybody in the community. You even have version control. So this answers the question, I don't know if I'm using the right version of this report. You can manually come in here and see when was it changed. You can restore back to a previous version, and even see the run history. When was this report ran last? And that's the web portal for reporting. are dashboards that can be built in literally a matter of minutes, give you all your custom KPIs on the go. So maybe this sales dashboard is an important one. Same idea. All the information is already tied together here in the web, so you don't have to do any refreshing or reloading. Just click on the information you want to see. This sales by salesperson I can even zoom into and even slice on the individual names. And then really most people use a tablet, but you would just swipe to the right. You could change which view you're looking at, and maybe slice on the information over here on the right just by using your finger. So that's kind of a high-level overview of the web-enabled functionality that we offer here at JET as you move up from Express. But I mean, there was nothing really that I wanted to add at this point. So are there any other questions in there, Kim?
Yes, we do got a question now.
All right.
Oh, hold on here. It went away. I'm sorry about that. Again, if someone could retype that in, I think I just deleted it. I'm sorry, Mike. That was bad.
I was excited. I want to make sure everybody has ample time. I might have left a little too much on the table, but there tends to be a lot of questions, so I wanted to make sure we get them all answered.
Okay, and the question is do we have the option to run everything on premise?
Yes, is the short answer. So even though we were, in lockstep with a vision for the future, meaning cloud-based, you can use this for on-premise access. It's really just for your client, so whatever desktop you download the add-in to, just point it to the GP database, and
there you go. Excellent.
easy as that.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you.